Hey crafters, this is Nye here. Today we are going to make ourselves a 3D candy corn box. All right, so I will be using my art glitter glue here for all of my gluing. I've got my bone folder here as well. And as you can see, I have all of my pieces cut out. Now, because we're making the box basically the same color, all of the pieces are all the same color. So what we want to do is really just take a moment and get everything lined up here. So you can see we've got 3 shapes of the candy corn. And what I want you to do is just take them and line them up one right on top of the other. And you'll see that when you're lining them up, it'll go kind of like from biggest to smallest. So let me do this here. And then I'm going to bring it up a little bit closer. And so you can kind of see right along the edges that this bottom one here is the biggest. Then there's like a medium size, and then there's the smallest. This smallest one that's on top is going to be the insert that goes into the bottom of the box. And then, so I'm going to put this one right here. And then these two are actually, this smaller one will be the bottom of the box, and then the larger one will be the top of the box, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the smaller one here, and then I'm going to put this one over here. Now, with the sides, it's going to be the same thing. We have the 2 longer pieces that are exactly the same length, but the smaller ones here, the one that is smaller is going to go with the bottom of the box, because the bottom of the box is going to be a little bit smaller than the top, so that way we can put them together. Okay, so I'm going to put these here like this, and I'm going to separate them from each other. All right, so here we go. We're going to get started. All right, so let's take the longer piece, and as you can see, it's got its score lines here. I need to grab a glue stick. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to fold right along the score line here. Now this is where you can use your bone folder if you want. I'm probably just going to stick with my fingers here, only because, I don't know, that's just what I do, I guess. So I'm just folding down here along the score lines. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue stick. So I'm going to open it up. I flipped it over. I'm just going to open it up. I'm going to take my glue stick and just kind of roll it right along the paper here to break up the fibers and just to kind of crease the paper. You can also just take your hand and just roll it like this if you want. We just want to get those fibers loose and broken up, so as we go to glue it down, it's a little bit easier for us. Okay, so there we go. All right, so let's get started gluing. So I'm going to start here. So I have the smaller one, and I'm going to start here at the bottom, kind of right along this curve here. And I'm going to use my glue stick a little bit more and really just curve this piece right here. All right. And I'm going to start right along here. So we've got the little tabs. I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I want that to line up right along at the bottom here. All right, so I'm going to start gluing. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to 3 of the tabs first. I'm not going to go crazy because, so I've got my 7, which is right about there. And actually I'm going to go right there along the bottom. All right, so you're probably not going to be able to see this very well because it's more at my angle, but I'll lift it up right here so you can see. I'm right here along the bottom. So I've got this little bit of the curve right there, and I'm right along the edge there. And then I'm going to come back on this side. I'm going to add, I just caused it to fall. So let's try it again. Okay. I'm going to come back in, I think, and add a little bit more glue right here. All right. And so I'm going to start gluing, which is really just kind of adding glue to the tabs here. I'm only doing a couple at a time because what I really want to do is make sure that I am getting it lined up. And For this one, really for the bottom, it doesn't have to be as perfect. It's really the top that you're going to really want to make sure that your perfection there is working. Okay, so here we are at the corner. I'm going to add this one here, and I'm just going to kind of take my time as I bend it. And I'm going to hold this one here and give it a second. Now, these curves are gradual. They're not super sharp. And because the side piece here is more at an angle, it's not going to be as easy. And so that's why I stopped right there to really focus on just that one. And then I'm going to come up here on the side. Okay. Now, once you have it glued on the side, and I'm holding it just to give the glue a chance to dry, because if I don't, then it's going to shift on me. And so I can come in on this side now and go a little bit faster on the side because this is all going to be more at the straight angle. And I'm just pressing it down. I can do the same thing really for the next probably 4 right here. So I'm just back in there, adding a little bit more glue. And so that's for the 3. And so now I'm starting the curve again, and I'm really just taking my time. And now I'm going to hold it at this one to make sure that it bonds right there. And then if you need to, just really make sure that you're pressing it down on the other side as well. And so now I'm going to do just this one because this is the top part here, and I want to make sure I'm getting that curve. I probably should have used my glue stick to roll it one more time there. And so I'm pushing it on the inside, like where my thumb is here, and I'm holding it so that way it dries. Because I'm really wanting the paper to just bend there, but without actually giving it like a crease. All right, and then for this last piece, I'm going to lift this one up so it lays more on top. And then I'm going to hold it and give it a moment to dry. All right, so what I can show you now on this side is you can see these tabs here right on the corner. They're laying on top of each other. So they're not as evenly spread out here, even in this corner. Okay, you can hopefully see that. The tabs are kind of laying more on top of each other there. And that's just to kind of help it as we're going around these corners here. All right, so now for the smaller piece, same thing basically here. I'm using my fingers just to crease along the score line. I'm gonna go this way. Whoops. Actually, I'll go this way for this part, only because it was starting to bend off of the score line there. And then I'm going to flip these this way. Okay. And then I'm going to take my glue stick again and just roll it along the paper here to break up the fibers. And if you want, you could just use your hand as well. And just kind of rolling the paper to give it that bend and that curve, okay? All right, so now we're ready to glue. So I've got this tab here. This tab is going to connect to this piece right here to kind of create my seal. So I'm going to add some glue to the one piece, and then I'm gonna add it to this part of the tab just to get it started and in the right position. And I'm going to line up the edge of this paper right on the score line. And so this one's a little harder for you guys to see again because I have to do it down here on my table. But I'm using my table as like a third hand, so for the support. And so you can see I'm pressing it down in here on the inside. I'm also pressing it right here along the seam to create that seal, and right there on the inside. And so since I'm on the side and I know this is more of a straight angle, I can go ahead and just kind of add along the 4 pieces right there, and just really holding it on the inside as well as at the edge to get it lined up. This one's probably one of the harder ones to build, only because it's really a curved piece. It's easy, but it's really, it's curved, and that makes it a little bit more challenging. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So now we're down to the last two pieces. And again, we've got this tab here. That's going to go right here on the inside. And you can kind of already see once you get to that position how it's going to meet up and how it's going to seal. I'm going to do all three of these at the same time. So I've got two pieces of the tab that still need glue, and then this part here to create that bend. And so I'm going to push that part there, and then I'm just going to hold everything to give it that moment to bond and dry and get secure. You can see I've got some glue escaping here, but it's okay. All right, so you can kind of already see there's our shape of the candy corn, right? Fun. Well, if you like candy corn, that is. Okay, and so this was my smaller piece that I just grabbed. I stuck it right inside right away without even saying anything. All we're gonna do is, I've got paper cardstock on my fingernail too. All we're gonna do is just add some glue to the back here. And we're just going to press this down on the inside. This part here is really just to kind of hide some of those tabs. And it's much smaller than the base here. Mine's kind of stuck now, but it's okay. And it's just if you wanted to put something inside the box, it just kind of makes it look a little bit pretty. There isn't one for the top because, well, no one really sees the top. So I always feel like I cheat with that one. Okay, so now let's work on the top. We're going to do the same thing. Well, actually, I think what I'm going to do first before I start is I'm going to flip this one over, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue down these top part here of the candy corn. And the reason why I want to do this first is because I really want to make sure that I'm going to get this lined up right at the edge, so that way you can't see any part of it. Okay, so I've added my glue, and I'm just using my fingers to line it up right at the edge. And then this one's going to go right there on top. If you need to, you may need to just flip it over to make sure that it fits correctly. Just adding more glue there. And placing it in that right spot. And then now for the white, I'm just lining it up first to make sure that I've got my placement correct. Because the last thing you want to do is add the glue and then you find out that you're in the wrong spot or you have it incorrect. Okay, so there's that part. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start with the larger piece here. And I'm just bending again along the score lines. And so I'm just pressing everything down. And we're almost there. I don't know if I'm going to speed up this part of the video. I might just continue to talk us through it here because it can be a little difficult. I'm just getting this part, and then I'm just going to use my hand for this one and just bending the paper to give it a curl. I'm going to come in a little bit closer here to this first tab because I'm going to try and line it up in the same position as the bottom there. And I'm going to use my glue stick right here along the edge. Okay, and so same thing. We're going to go for about that 7 tabs here. So that's 2, 4, 6, and then 7. And then we're going to just line it up right here along the bottom. So again, I'm going to start with just about three of these tabs here with my glue. And just lining it right up at the edge. I was bending down, so that probably changed the angle of my voice there. So you can see right there along the edge. If you need to, just push it down a little bit more to make sure that it fits. And then I'm going to add, I might add the glue right here to this part of it. And then going right there again along the edge, making sure that everything's meeting. And I'm going to do it right again along the edge here. So for these two, I'm going to do the one, and then I'm going to let that part dry first. And then I'm going to hold it right here. Just really give that part a chance to dry right here. So I've got a little bit of glue seeping out there, but it's okay. So I'm just giving it a chance to dry right here, so that way I know it's bonded. And then, so now you can see this part, this flap right here, it's gonna land right on top of it. So I'm gonna do the one first, just to get that part going, since I've turned and I'm on a different side. And give that one a chance to dry as well. And that's good. And so now, because again, now I'm on the side and it's basically like a straight line here, even though it's slightly curved, I can go a little bit faster. I'm just getting everything lined up right there. And then we're back here on the inside. And since I'm getting close to the corner again, I'm going to have to slow down. And so I'm going to do this one piece first, just to get that bend going. So the one tab is first. And then just hold it there, give it a chance to dry. I'm going to put this one on the inside because it got a little bit on the outside there. You check it on this side as well. And now I'm going to lift it up so that way it will sit on top, and then I can just add the glue to this last one here. And then I'm going to hold it and wait and give it a chance to dry. And so I'm kind of bending the paper too as I'm pushing, only to make sure that it's getting there. Okay. And so I'm using my hand just to bend this part of the paper, like out here at the edge as well. And that looks pretty good. Let's get the other piece going. I guess I didn't end up speeding up the video. Okay. And so once more, I'm just folding all of these pieces down. I'm going to come back in and use my hand here to bend the paper and just kind of roll it. Okay. And now I'm flipping it here. And because I'm on this part now, I'm going to start with the glue on this tab and this tab because it's going to connect right here. And I want to make sure that that's bonded before I move on. So I've added a little bit of glue there. I can't lift this one up. I've got glue on my finger here. So I'm going to do my best to do it this way so you guys can see it a little bit better. So I'm giving it a chance to bond, and then I'm going to hold it right here along the edge. So it's a little bit harder this way for me, but hopefully you guys can see it a little bit better. I just wanted to check that there. All right. I'm going to put it down and just give that one a moment there. I've got lots of glue drying on my fingers, and it's affecting how I can feel it. Feel the paper there. Okay. All right. So I've got that one going. So now that I'm back on the kind of straight edge here, I can add a little bit more glue so I can go a little bit faster. And I'm just pressing it right along the edge to create that seal and that bond. And I'm going to go and hold it on the inside here as well. Okay. All right, we're almost there. Okay. So this last couple pieces right here, I'm going to hold on to those last two at the very end because it's going to be basically the same thing. We want this part of the flap to go on the inside. And then I'm going to add the glue to these last two pieces. So there's this one, and then right here along the tab. And then making that seal first with the edge. And there we go. And then again, just giving everything a chance to bond and to become secure before I let go. All right, and so this is just a fun project. You know, if you like candy corn, then this is one for you. If you don't, well, you know, that's your choice. I'm not a fan of it. So we've got the top now, the bottom, and then all you're gonna do is place it right on top. And there we go. We've created a fun little 3D box that's in the shape of a candy corn, that looks like a candy corn. You could use it as decor on like your Halloween shelf, or I don't know, maybe you could use it for your trick-or-treaters then too. So many options, okay? So be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and happy crafting.